realize Mitt Romney has some serious ground to make up with blacks and Hispanics, but someone has to tell him that photo ops like this just make him look whiter. So white, in fact, that the guy on the right thinks he's seeing a ghost. Who's Mitt Romney gonna pick? Well, he picked a guy this week. Paul Ryan. Scientists said this would never happen, but it did. The ticket got whiter. I don't know how. Are you excited about Paul Ryan? Oh, wow. Nero, the man who is suing Gwyneth Paltrow because he says she crashed into him while they were both skiing in Utah, has to admit, it doesn't get any whiter than that. It just does not. And I'm tired of living with the stereotype that all hunkies are a little racist and retrograde and will only vote for fellow members of our own white tribe. You know, someone who can really rock a pair of Dockers. Oprah doesn't scare white men. She's not their first choice. That's Kenny Chesney. But never underestimate the power of being in people's living rooms for decades. That's what got Trump elected. This is now a as seen on TV kind of country. White men may not love Oprah, but she's as comfortable and familiar as a pair of cargo shorts with an elastic waistband. The background story of this election was white people losing their power. I mean, let's be honest. Republicans have the same problem as the Beach Boys. Their fans are dying. But hey, the good news is Obama won. The bad news is only 39% of whites voted for him. And that is a pattern. White people vote for white people like it's going out of style. And like most things white people do, it's going out of style. New rule, racists can't complain that white people aren't reproducing enough until white hipsters get rid of the man bun. You want to know why Anglo-Saxons aren't procreating? Meet patient zero. Because for hundreds of years, white penises were America. White penises found America. They made the rules and they called the shots in the workplace, in the home, and at the ballot box. But now the unthinkable is happening. White penises are becoming the minority. 2010 was the first year in which more minority babies were born than white babies. This is what conservatives are really upset about. That the president is black, and the Secretary of State is a woman, and every shortstop is Latino, and every daytime talk show host is a lesbian. And suddenly this country is way off track and needs some serious restoring. If penises could cry, and I believe they can, then white penises are crying all over America. I cannot deny that Barack Obama is a two-term president who's had 4 elections in his life, and he only won the white vote once, when he ran for the Senate against another black guy. And the only thing that makes white people more uncomfortable than choosing between 2 black politicians is getting the check at a Thai restaurant and trying to remember which waitress was yours. This is something he saw on Tucker Carlson. And by the way, I always go by the rule, if you want to know what's going on in Africa, ask a guy named Tucker. I swear to God, Trump, he's like a drug dog for white victimization. He can smell it out anywhere. If Trump traveled to the deepest reaches of space, he would say, "Why aren't there any white holes?" So here's a few tips on how to talk to the white voter. Tip number 1, talk a lot, about the importance of hard work. White people eat that shit up. Because they think they're the only Americans who do work hard and that they're carrying all the people who just collect welfare and complain. Reinforce this silly notion so they can feel better about themselves. There was a study done last year where people were asked to rate their feelings about various races, and white liberals were the only group that has a bias against themselves. They want to hang out only with people who are not them. That's like your mother preferring the neighbor's kids. 2 words, small businesses. You're not just for them. You don't just support them. You love them. You wish you could fuck small businesses. There are two thoughts that never leave white people's minds. When's lunch? And someday, I'm gonna tell that dick for brains boss of mine to shove it, and then I'll start my own small business. Do not screw with the imaginary small business in Whitey's head. But folks, you don't need to advertise it. What's with the I'm embarrassed to be white subgenre on the internet? I'm finding myself constantly embarrassed to be white. I'm watching Tall Girl, and I've never been so embarrassed to be white. Retweet if you're embarrassed to be white. Jesus, fuck. Rosanna Arquette tweeted, "I'm sorry I was born white and privileged. It disgusts me and I feel so much shame." Exactly. You think it's hard being a black man in a white man's world? Try being a white woman who feels bad about you being a black man in a white man's world. Every thought needs a disclaimer now. The other day I heard a guy say, "I realize I'm only speaking as a white male and I acknowledge our tragic history of oppression, but you left your lights on." Look, white privilege is real. And yes, you have some advantages for being white, but you also have some disadvantages. Many of you were born with a terrible personality. Because this kind of matches that.
Yeah, I got to get you one. This is my band, Run the Jewels. Can I get you to do that?
You've never heard the Pew Study? I've never seen that color, and now I've seen it twice.
So we got to do this. Yeah. You got to throw it up. That's my band.
Oh, I can't do the black handshakes, Mike.
But there's a white guy in my group.
I'm with you intellectually, but don't make me do the handshake. New rule, now that we have Doritos with names like Flamin' Hot, Blaze, and Jacked, how about a version for those of us with a more refined culinary palate? I want to see something like Doritos Subtly Seasoned. Or Doritos Whiff of Flavor. Or Doritos Light and Unprepossessing. Oh, hell, let's just call it what it is. Doritos Caucasian. And you know what? Stop attacking Rachel for wanting to be black. Sometimes we white people can pull it off. And sometimes we can't. How many remember the name Rachel Dolezal? Does that name ring a bell?
Yeah.
No? Okay, well, she was the head of the NAACP in Spokane, Washington. She said she identified as black, even though she kind of looked white and we thought she was white. Well, this week she went on the show The Real, and for the first time acknowledged that she is, in fact, a white bitch. So show the clip we have from The Real.
You weren't born black, so when you say you are black, it makes it hard for people to understand where you're coming from.
Right, and that's why I said I acknowledge I was biologically born white to white parents.
The black ladies love her. Anyway, so look, this raised awareness, which is the most important thing we can ever do, and the least, for white people who need to identify as black, what doctors call Justin Bieber syndrome. And so now, for such white people, there is pharmaceutical help, and we have the ad that's going to be coming your way soon. Take a look.
Do you ever have that not-so-funky, fresh feeling? Tired of your straight hair, flat butt, and lack of rhythm? Well, now there's Dolezal. Dolezal goes directly to the south central nervous system, reducing hunky levels. Your pants sagging, exposing your butt? That means it's working. Dolezal's patented formula speeds funkanoids to the part of the brain that regulates uptightness and helps channel soul directly to your problem areas. Dolezal is not for everyone. Dolezal does not work on Lithuanians, Republicans, or the assassin from the Da Vinci Code. Make sure that you're healthy enough to get down on it before taking Dolezal. Side effects may include police harassment, unequal sentencing, white girls touching your hair, and the urge to fan yourself in church. Caution, do not attempt to get credit while using Dolezal. So ask your doctor if Dolezal is right for you. And if it isn't, what does that cracker doctor know anyhow? You feel me?